Hey, good evening, boys and girls, and welcome to tonight's edition of Cage Side with Christopher James. I got no music for you tonight. I got some computer issues. I'm using my backup computer, so bear with me. But it doesn't matter. I don't have the music because we have a star, and she brings the music herself. Like last time she was on the show, she actually busted out some Fresh Prince. She don't have to do it this time because she only has to do it once, first time guest only. But she busted out the most incredible version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. Last time I saw her, I was in Las Vegas for Phil Rowe's fight at the Contender Series. She was hanging out with her dude, Drakkar Klose, and she's got a fight coming up in like a week, like 12 days. She's going to be one of the fighters taking place in the 3-event fight week for the UFC. We're going to bring her in right now, and she's an XFC vet. I love this girl. She's awesome. Former soccer player, certified badass. Please welcome the one and only Cortney Casey. Cortney, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, you know what? Actually, let me do this for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Cortney Casey.
That was good.
Yeah. Well, I am a ring announcer, so I do that shit.
I know.
So, first of all, how the hell are you, girl? You look phenomenal.
Doing good. Staying inside, staying safe. But yeah, doing really good. Happy to get back in the cage.
Yeah, I know it's coming up quick. It's like, first of all, like it wasn't coming at all. Nobody was fighting. Nobody knew anything. And then all of a sudden, 45 fighters get these phone calls. Well, let's see. There's 12. There's 7. Yeah, about 55, maybe 65. I don't even know. Got the phone call. Hey, you're fighting this week. You're fighting this week, and you're fighting this week. 3 events in 1 week. It's the Corona Craze Fight Week. So before we get into all that, I want to backtrack a little bit with this whole pandemic thing for you. Tell us a life in the day of Cortney Casey prior to the pandemic, and then tell us a life in the day of Cortney Casey during the pandemic.
It's pretty much the same, to be honest, other than going to the gym. I couldn't go to the gym. We were still our governor Ducey, he wanted us to still be outside, but keep social distancing, obviously, like things like that. The stores were a little bit different. I go to the grocery store every day.
So do I deliver groceries for shifts, so I'm in the grocery store every day.
Yeah, I have to go grocery shopping every day. I live with 2 boys. I got Drakkar, I got my roommate Brett, and then I got the little one, Kingston. So I mean, they eat a lot. So I'm at the store every day, and they're not picky, but they definitely get cravings. That's for sure. So other than that, I mean, we pretty much stayed the same. Everything stayed the same, other than going to the gym. But luckily, I have a great sponsor in Zebra Mats, and I have mats at home, so I was able to do most of my training out of the garage, and got everything in that I needed to get in.
So you're doing your training out of the garage. How hard is it for you to adjust to doing training without your normal group of people? Because I know it's trimmed down. I know you have some people. Of course, you being in a relationship with a fellow UFC fighter definitely helps. You probably throw them around. You probably throw them around a little bit. I'm guessing you guys are about the similar size, so
No, not similar in size at all. 1, 2. He ended up having to get surgery after his fight, so he's kind of been out of commission. So he's just been very emotionally supportive. He's been supportive around the house, but as far as like training wise goes, I haven't really been able to do much with him. He's like one-hand paddle, holding pads for me and stuff like that. Luckily, I have my roommate, Brett. He's been, on that grind trying to get a fight. But with all this going on, he's just staying ready. But I have been able to have training partners come in for a short amount of time. We weren't allowing anyone at the house. So it was just us. And then we started bringing people in, one coach in, only in the garage, staying safe. And then we slowly moved back into the gym, and we were allowed to go back in the gym. But again, for small windows. A little bit more personal. Only 3 of us, me, my training partner, and then my 4, and then my 2 coaches.
And do you feel like you're getting in what you need to get in, as far as the grappling and the conditioning? Because again, this is kind of a short notice bout, you know, and you're not a stranger to a short notice bout. I know you've taken a couple here and there in your life, you know, but this one's a little different, you know, because of the way the world has been. So
Yeah.
Are you getting what you need?
I'm getting what I mean. I need it. It really wasn't a short notice fight. Like, I knew I had it, but it was back in, you know, it was back when everything was fine. And then it went through that period of no one's fighting, you're not fighting. Now you got a new opponent and things like that. So as far as knowing I had a fight on May 16th, it's been a while, but adjusting and preparing for an actual fight, it has been kind of short. Still a full camp, which is good. You know, it was about 6 weeks. I think we officially knew that it was happening, you know, when everyone else did about 3 weeks ago. Right. But, you know, I've been training the entire time. It has been different, that's for sure. I am getting the work in, but it's been different. It's not that same kind of atmosphere. It's not a team, you know, everyone's in there grinding. It's very quaint. It's small, and it's a little bit more hands-on and personal, which I've kind of actually enjoyed, because I really got to like narrow a lot of things down, which has been good. I definitely do think I'm as prepared as I can be for this fight, considering all the circumstances.
Yeah, and you know, you got a tough opponent coming up, Mara Romero Barella. You know, she's no slouch. You know, and you know, I got to say, you know, I don't think I've ever seen you fight a slouch. Even when you were fighting, well, because you haven't fought. Listen, we all know that some fighters along their way up, you know, before they get to the UFC, you know, I've had a few easy ones. You know, I remember when you fought at the XFC here in Tampa, you know, you didn't get an easy fight then. I don't think I've ever seen you in an easy fight. And, you know, you get these close decisions and split decisions. So you're you know, it's just, you go out there and you fight. And, but with this girl coming up right now, again, no slouch. What do you need to do to prepare for her as far as, you know, something special that she brings to the game that you have to be a little extra aware of? Because, you know, every fight is different, even though, you know, the general consensus is you're a fighter, or that person's a fighter. And most fighters say, well, I just train to do what I'm supposed to do, and I don't worry about my opponent. But in reality, you have to worry about your opponent, because if you got a person that's a straight grinder on a wrestler and you're not prepared for that, you're going to get taken down and you're going to lose. If you try to wrestle a person that's, you know, going to just throw kicks at you, you're going to get your butt kicked too. So what does she bring in your eyes that you have to make a little extra preparation for?
Her clinch game. You know, she's a little bit. I can't say that she's safe, but she definitely uses the cage well. She uses the cage to her advantage. A few of her fights, she likes to stand and brawl a little bit, which, you know, I'm happy to do. But she does tend to, you know, play it safe a little bit when she's either up or she just needs points. You know, she'll push you up against the cage and kind of hold you there and chip away a little bit. So we've been working a lot on the cage control and clinch work. But other than that, you know, I think I match up really well with her. I think I'm going to, you know, hopefully be a lot faster than she is. Yeah. I mean, I fought back at 125 a long time ago, but it's definitely going to be, you know, a new challenge at 125. But I'm excited for it and I'm ready for it.
Yeah, and you know, speaking of that, I mean, you're not. You know, I always find this awkward to say to a female fighter, you're not a small girl. You know, you're not like super tiny. You know, so are you thinking of maybe staying at 125? Because to me, you seem to have the frame built for 125, you know, and the strong legs from your soccer experience where you can go in there and, you know, lay those kicks into these girls. But the weight cut, you know, as everybody gets older, men and women, the weight cut becomes a little more difficult, you know, as we get older. So have you maybe made a decision to say, you know what, maybe I need to stay up here at 125, take up some new challenges and, you know, go after that 125 belt and, you know, maybe take a kick at Bullet Valentina's head?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not out of the question, but 115 isn't out of the question either. We're kind of using this one as not a feeler out, but we're just we wanted to focus on the fight. I've been out for a year. I've been dealing with a few injuries, so we just didn't want to have to battle the weight cut while getting ready for the fight. So we just thought it would be safer and healthier for me to move up to 125 for this fight. So we're going to see how it goes, see how I feel. If I like it, you know, then I'll stay. If I don't, I'll go down to 115. if a fight comes up at 115 and they need someone, I'll take it there. You know, I don't know. I really don't know. I really right now just kind of focusing on making sure, you know, make the weight, go in there and put on a performance and get the W come May 16th.
That's awesome. You know, so I'm guessing if Cortney goes out there and gets the big win and maybe a big finish, so we don't have any of these damn judges getting in your way.
Yeah, no, I don't need that.
That maybe the 125 you'll be a little more apt to stay there. Although, like you said, if you know they offer you a fight at 115 and you can make the weight, you know. And I'm going to ask you a question that's another tough question, and please don't get offended by it because I don't want you to. But it's a question that somebody wanted me to ask you, so I'm going to ask. You know, you've had your ups and downs with your victories in the UFC. You know, and your record is, I believe, 8-7 now overall. Yeah, 8-7. So yeah. Does that come into your thoughts that, you know, I have to win to stay here? Or do you just go, you know what, I'm just going to go out there and let what happens, and I'm not worried about, you know, them, what they're going to do contract-wise? And I know it's a tough question to ask, and I don't like to ask it, but it's a legitimate question. And
yeah,
I always feel bad asking it. I've had to ask other fighters. I always feel like, man, I want to cry when I ask it because I you know, I don't want to put a negative connotation in your head, but it's part of the career. So
yeah, and that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? It's part of the job. I don't know. I try my best not to focus on that. You know, obviously it's in the back of my head a little bit, but I know my record doesn't look good. It doesn't. But if you put it on paper, who I fought, I've literally fought everyone inside the top 15. So I would hate to get cut, not, you know, fighting all the, you know, like taking all these fights, taking all these risks, you know, stepping up short notice. I would hate to get cut by doing my job than not doing my job, sitting in the back saying, no, I want this fight. I want to fight these girls. You know, these ones have the same amount of fights as me. You know, X, Y, and Z, you know, ABC, whatever you want to do. You know, I can sit and nitpick it, but that's not my job. My job is to fight. My job is for you to offer me a fight and for me to say yes. And that's how I've, you know, fought my entire career. So would it suck? Yeah, of course it would suck. But at the same time, if I had to go back and change it, I wouldn't. I love fighting the best. Like, I think that's what our job is, I mean, you got to fight the best to be the best. And sometimes you come up short, sometimes you don't. But, you know, I'm going on my 11th fight in the UFC. Haven't had a lot of wins, but I've had some big wins.
Right? I know you've had some really good wins. You've had some tough decisions go against you that shouldn't have, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Again, you know, the judges do their thing, and, you know, I'm not a judge. So, you know, even if I think you won, it doesn't matter what the fuck I think. It doesn't matter what the fuck everybody thinks. It only matters what the judges put down on their damn scorecards. So it's weird, to say the least. But again, and you've had some tough fights. You know, you fought some of the best girls in the world. And it's crazy, but 11 fights into the goddamn UFC. Think about that for a minute. You are like you know, you're a tenured UFC fighter. You're not just somebody who's, no, my second fight, my third fight. This is number 11 coming up. Have you thought about that at all and just go, wow, when you first got here, like, holy shit, I got 11 fights in the UFC now?
No, not really. I mean, sometimes it gets a blur, you know what I mean? You get in camp and you get going, and especially with back-to-back fights and all that, you know, but it's my job. It's my job. I'm happy to do it. And like I said, I'm excited when I get that phone call, regardless of who it is or where it's at. You know, I'm 99.9% going to say yes, unless for some reason I'm injured, and that's really only been the reason why I've said no is either I'm injured or, you know, they asked me to do a super, super short notice fight, you know, a couple days and I just can't make the weight, or they asked me to fight at 35 and I was like, no, I'm not going to do it right now.
So this fight, this whole event, you're going to be the third event in a week. You know, and Dana's still adamant he's going to buy an island and put all that crap together, and we're going to have Fight Island. But have you thought about the gravity of this event that's coming up? Because, I mean, literally 3 events and, you know, a 7-day pair. We got UFC 249 this Saturday night. Then we got an event in the middle of the week on Wednesday. And then, you know, you and that whole group the next fight night on the 16th, you all close out the show of a tremendous fight week. Lots of fights. We went from having no fights to holy shit, we got 3 fight cards.
Yeah.
Have you thought about being involved in such a historic week for the UFC and for the world of sports overall? Because this isn't just about the UFC. This is about sports coming back to America and the world since March. The last UFC event was sometime in March when they had that event in Brazil.
Yep.
And other than that, we've had not a zero. And it's quite honestly, I know you played soccer, so I know you're a sports fan. So we have had nothing. And if you're anything sports fan like me, you're like, oh my God, give me something. The other day, 2 girls at my neighbors were out front and they were literally just hitting a volleyball in the driveway. I was going to film it. I was going to film these 2 girls just hitting a volleyball in the driveway because I was so excited that there was a ball and it was like a sporting event.
Yeah.
So are you excited that you're a part of this? And have you really thought about how this is going to look in history, sometime down the road, that you got to be a part of such a what I'm going to call a beautiful week of fighting?
I mean, I'm happy to fight at the end of the day. I'm just happy to get a paycheck and go in there and put on a show for everyone, step into that new weight class and fight. Has it been different? Yeah, for sure. Without sports, like you said, I've been an athlete my entire life. So I'm definitely excited to get the ball rolling as far as sports go. Hopefully more of them follow. Missing out on baseball season and everything like that, so that kind of stinks. But I mean, I've been on a first of a lot of things, and I guess being part of this, I guess you can say fight week, Corona Fight Week, is just another thing to put a stamp on.
Hey guys, you're tuned into Cage Tower Christopher James. We are live tonight with UFC strawweight / flyweight / whatever weight they're going to pay her to kick somebody's ass at. Cortney Casey joining us, former soccer player, certified badass, like I said. Have you ever thought about going back to soccer? I know that's just like way out of left field, but yeah, when I first met you years ago here in Tampa, and John Prisco introduced me to you and told me that, you used to play soccer and you turned into a fighter. I looked her up a little bit, but then I started doing some research on you about soccer, and you were a fucking badass. Like you really were. Like you were in what I consider top level. Like you could play on the U.S. Women's team. I mean, that's how good, from when I went back and looked up stuff, that's how good I believe you were. So I know you're all into fighting, but if they came to you and said, hey, Cortney, we need you to jump in here and join us on the women's team, would you be ready to do that? Like that?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if I can hang with those young guns now, but
yeah, you could.
Yeah, I would definitely. Are you drinking a Yoo-hoo?
Girl, you know what's up. Yoo-hoo.
Man, I haven't had a Yoo-hoo in a while.
Well, you know what? Listen, when you get to Jacksonville, because I'm going to come up to Jacksonville for one of these events. I'm probably going to go up this week to try to get some interviews with some of the people for 249. But I had who did I have on my show the other night, man? Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, and we were chatting, and he said you got to come up after and have a cocktail with me, and bring some trees. And I'm like, all right. So if I come up there, I'll definitely see you. And whether win, lose, or draw, we're going to chug some Yoo-hoo, girl.
When I win, we will have a Yoo-hoo.
So you have to say when you win. I have to be that unbiased guy and go win, lose, or draw. And listen, you're one of the people that, we have XFC history with. So all my XFC people, I always root for. You know that already. I've got a little bias towards some of them because they were a part of my history. And that's always going to be, it's never going to go away. Scott Holtzman, I mean, there's so many of them. Carla Esparza, Felice Herrig,
Luke Sanders.
Yep. All of these people that came through the XFC. And I always find it funny that Carla and Felice became best friends because they fought each other, and Carla beat Felice at an XFC fight, and then they became best friends. And that's one of my favorite things about this sport. That they, that the camaraderie and the friendships that come, you have a fight with somebody, whether you beat them or whether you lose, the friendship seems to develop because that bond you folks share inside the octagon, because you can't recreate that outside of the octagon. You know, so even if, you know, like Conor and Nate, those two suckers hated each other going into that first fight. They earned each other's respect. The second fight, they talked a little smack, but they respect each other, you know, and it's the cool thing. I don't know if I'd see Nate and Conor hanging out.
Probably not.
But well, I don't know. Maybe now, you know, Conor can bring the whiskey and Nate can bring the blunt, and we can roll, you know, just go through it. Now, I'm going to get personal with you now. For those folks that don't know, Cortney is in a relationship with our man, Drakkar Klose. He's an awesome dude. He's a good fighter. By the way, he still owes me an interview. Tell him that I still remember. He owed me one from when we are Contender Series for my boy Phil's fight. And he said he was going to come on, and I messaged him, and he responded back, and he said, I got you. And then I haven't heard from him since. But that's okay.
Apparently you talked some shit on him after he lost his fight, and he says he doesn't want to do an interview with you now.
Really?
That's what he told me. He told me if he asked for me to tell you that you said something that he didn't like, and he said he's no longer going to do an interview with you unless you apologize.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Do you know what I said?
I have no idea. That's what I asked him. He's like, I don't know. He said, I mean, it really wasn't that bad, but you know, he talked some shit. So it's like, he's sensitive.
Okay, I'll have to go back and see if I can find out what I said, because if it was a fair comment evaluation of what he.
If it was a fair comment, it's fair comment. You know what I mean? I try to tell him that, like, you got it. You know, win, lose, or draw. You have to be biased. You know, it is what it is.
I mean, Rafael dos Anjos won't talk to me because after he lost the belt to who did he lose the belt to? Jesus Christ. Oh no, Rafael, he had won the belt and then he lost it to McGregor. No, was it McGregor? No, I don't remember who he lost to. But anyway, he lost his belt, and he came back the next day. Oh, I should have an immediate rematch. Dude, you got knocked out in the first round. So I called him out on it, and then he blocked me on Twitter and wouldn't talk to me ever again. You know, I mean, look, it's just what it is. So, Drakkar, whatever I said about you, dude, if it was a fair, honest comment, then I stand by it. If it wasn't, then I'll go back and I'll be the first one to apologize, because I'm a man. I'm a man like that. But anyway, so she's dating Drakkar. You guys have been together for a little bit of time now.
Yep.
How is that? Because you guys are a cute couple. I'm not going to lie. When I saw you guys out in Vegas, and I knew you were dating before, but I saw you out in Vegas together, I was just like, damn, they really do look cute together. They look happy. They look in tune and in sync. So how is that, like, having the fight life, you know, because your whole life is fight life. Like, you know, some people don't want to date somebody in their industry because then the whole industry is home with them all the time. But in this industry, I think it works. So how is that?
It's easy. It really is easy, especially like in camp. You know, you understand the moods, you understand the weight cut, you understand the restricted diet, you understand the schedule that, you know, it requires. And we bounce off of each other really well. We are really, really good friends. So I feel like we have a very lighthearted relationship. We tease each other a lot. It's easy. It really is easy. And it's nice to have someone who can go through the ups and downs of fighting and have that support system, you know, win, lose, or draw, you know, hard weight cuts, hard camps, stressful camps, emotional camps, everything that falls into getting prepared for a fight, and then also fight week and the fight, and then the days after the fight. I don't think people realize how tough it is to immerse yourself in something for 6 to 8 weeks. And then each week it gets tougher and tougher and tougher until you get to fight. And then depending the outcome of the fight, it could be an up or it could be a down, or sometimes even with a win, it can still be a down because you didn't do what you needed to do. And you ended up just getting the win because you got a win. But you're still not satisfied with yourself as far as game planning goes and how you improved and not being able to, you know, do the things that you wanted to do throughout fight camp. So, I mean, it's definitely nice. It's humbling as well at the same time, which I like. And I don't know, we mesh well and we get the job done and we have fun with it.
Is it easier to deal with, you know, the losing side, you know, for either, like, having that person there that knows what you went through all the way through. And you know, because listen, I know most fighters that I've met and I've talked to over the years, and I've talked to tons, you know, when they lose a fight, a lot of them don't want to be bothered. They don't want to talk to their wife or their boyfriend or their girlfriend or their husband or their sister, aunt, uncle, mother, brother. But you guys, you know, you live together and you're fighters. Does it make it a little more bearable? Like knowing that, you know, you could, let's say, you know, not any fight. Let's say you lost a fight. You know, after the fight, he was there, you know, part of your team and all that stuff. He was there. And then you guys go home and you're really just feeling all shitty. Is it easier to kind of recover from it knowing that you're sitting next to somebody on the couch, or, you know, you're laying your head next to somebody on a pillow at night that goes through the exact same thing you go through? Does that take kind of some of the sting out?
I think it takes a little bit of the sting out, but at the same time, it's all about the person. I mean, we're both very open with each other. We're both comfortable talking about things like losses and how we feel about that. I mean, I've done it more times than he has. So I think me handling, like, how I handle my losses has helped him as far as his last loss, and things like that. But is it easy? I don't think it's ever easy, regardless of who you're laying your head next to. It really just depends on, you know, how you're growing as a person, how you're growing as an athlete, and that's the main thing. I guess it could make it a little bit easier, but I don't know.
And the other part of being in this new relationship, well, it's not new anymore, but the other part of this for you that I think is different is, hang on a second. This person from Dell is typing to me on my other computer. They need a phone number to call me back after my show is over. Because I was trying to troubleshoot my computer, and I'm like, all right, look, listen, I can't talk right now. I've got a UFC fighter I'm waiting to interview, and I'm running late, and I can't let her sit. And she goes, really? I'm like, yeah. So let me see, what time is it? Let's say 10:15. I'll tell her. That'll give me enough time to get, when I get done, to go pee. But part of this new relationship, not new, I keep saying new, part of your relationship now is, I guess you've taken on the role as a female figure in Drakar's son's life. How has that been for you? You know, acting, I don't know if it's stepmom or just, you know, I don't know what the right term would be, you know, if it's a stepmom or just, you know, a positive influence on this child. But for you, how has that been? Because, you know, you don't have your own kids right now. So how's it been kind of being in that role for you?
I love it. I mean, Jakar's a great dad. Kingston has an amazing mother. So I just like being able to just share in his growth more than anything. I love him to death. You know, I treat him as my own. I feel like anyone in a relationship with someone who has a kid, I feel like that's how it should be done. I have an amazing stepfather myself. So, you know, I've been able to kind of have a positive role model as far as someone who wasn't my biological father, but definitely was a huge impact and a father figure in my life. So I just want to be, you know, a good parent to him, mother, stepmother, bonus mom, whatever you want to call it. I just, you know, I take joy in making sure that he's happy.
You know what? I like the term you just used, bonus mom. From now on, no parent or, you know, step parent should ever be called a step parent again. And no kid should be called a stepchild. It should be bonus mom, bonus dad, bonus kid. I love that. That creates such a positive spin. You know, the step thing always, like my wife and I, we got together, and she had a daughter, you know, so, you know, I took on the responsibility of treating that daughter like my own. And now the daughter has a son. So now I have a grandson. I'm so excited. He's so adorable. But, you know, I never liked saying, hey, I'm her stepdad. That just sounds, it's got like that evil Cinderella sound to it that I just don't like. So from now on, I will always refer to that as the bonus. I have a bonus kid. The grandson don't mind though, but I have a bonus kid, and you're a bonus mom. That's cool. I like that, man. So that's a positive spin on it. And I've seen, you know, some pictures and little videos you guys have done with him, and you guys all look so cute together. You know, you, Drakar, even though he hates me now, and King. You know, and that sucks. I really, it bothers me. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to find out what I said, because I just want to know. Because, you know, if I was a dick, then I'll say, hey, dude, I'm sorry, I was a dick. But if it was honest, then I gotta say, hey, well, I stand by it. I'm honest. But either way, at the end of the day, you know, whether he wants to do an interview with me or not, he's a cool cat. And, you know, I hope that he recovers from his injury. You said he had some surgery. And I'm not going to ask you to divulge what that's about. That's his story to tell. But, yeah, it is. And but I hope he recovers well, and I hope you pass that message on to him. That I say, hey, you know, regardless of whatever I said, at the end of the day, you know, if he's with you and he's good people, and I met him, so he's good people, you know, and I like him. So you know, this is a tough business sometimes. You know, it just is. Some people don't like when you have to tell the truth, and some people don't like when you say anything. So it's but you said it. You go, he's sensitive.
Yeah.
So. I think we pretty much covered everything I wanted to hit with you tonight. When do you get into town? Are you coming in the middle?
Tuesday.
So next Tuesday,
the 14th. Yeah, I mean, it's real strict on like time frames of when you can get there. You can't get there any earlier. You can't get there any later. There's screenings that we got to do. Anytime we leave the hotel and come back, we get screened. UFC is doing a really good job on taking, you know, all the precautions that they need to make sure that, you know, us fighters and everyone in promotion, everyone that's, you know, part of the staff, and making sure that the show runs smoothly and safely as possible. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I heard we're getting our own training room, which I think is pretty sweet. Hopefully they keep that around. But we don't have to share a room with anyone else. Our rooms are just for us. So we'll see how it goes.
That's awesome. And you know, I was hoping that they were going to bring you folks in and let you experience 249. Give you a whole week in town, you know, get your 249, and then you go see the fights on Wednesday, and then you go do your fight. Even though, you know, the distance thing, I know the arena that they're doing it in, and you know, like they could have had fighters in, you know, way over on this side of the room and then way over on the other side of the room. It would have worked out. I thought that would have been a little bonus for all you guys. You know, I was like, damn, man, there'll be no other crowd except other fighters, you know, it'd just be like, you know, but they can't.
We're hoping that maybe we'll be able to see Wednesday's card because we have a teammate Hunter on it. And since we're already scanned and cleared, you know, I think maybe I don't know. We're hoping that maybe since we're already scanned and cleared and everything and we're safe and it's more controllable, that maybe we'll be able to go. But if we don't, we don't. We'll watch it on TV. But if we do, I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. I'm like I said, I was hoping that all the fighters were going to come in for the whole fight week, you know, like on Monday and Tuesday for this whole 249 and then lead right in. But I understand the precautions they're trying to take to keep all of you safe. Post-fight, have they said to you, like, once you're done, do they want everybody to quarantine? Has that been any, like, man, because I know they had talked about that, like, after doing an event, they were going to request everybody to quarantine for 2 weeks before they went back to life. But I guess that happened.
We haven't heard anything about that. Guess we'll play it by ear.
Yep.
I think we're gonna self quarantine regardless, just to play it safe. I mean, at least a week, maybe a couple days.
Sure.
Maybe just go up to the cabin or something. My parents have a cabin up north, so maybe just go up there and just kind of just relax and get away from everything for a little bit, and you know, quarantine, but other than our house.
Hey, a different quarantine spot is quarantining, but at least you get doing it. I mean, it's a little different. So before we let you go tonight, you know, I'm not going to ask you to sing because you're still, you did that Fresh Prince thing. And every time I bring up the thing, you know, and I tell people they got to sing, and I'm like, look, and you have a bar that you have to live up to because Cortney Casey killed it with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song because the way you just delivered it, because you were just sitting there and all of a sudden just, and here it was so epic. There was one kid that came on my show, Impa Kasunganai, and he did What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. You know the song?
Oh, yeah.
I hear bell, right? But he did it, like he changed his voice and he sounded like Louis Armstrong, and that was pretty epic. And then I had this kid, Sherrod Blackwood from Vegas. He came on, and he don't sing, but he beatboxes. So
yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
He was pretty epic. I was trying to get him to come on with somebody and have him beatbox while a fighter came on and sang. It didn't work out that way, but we're going to get one to do it one day. Well, before I let you go, is there sponsors or anybody you want to shout out, you know, give, you know, love and credit to before we let you zip on out here? And thanks. I know we ran a little late tonight than what I wanted to start.
Okay, Zebra Mats, X Endurance, 8 Man Strong, Combat Corner, RX Water, my teammates, my family. Oh, hey, Bucks.
Oh, we're getting that. Hey, hey, little bud.
My teammates, Fight Ready, Siege MMA. What else is there? I mean, Kingston, Jakar.
The eyes of that little boy. Oh my God.
Yeah. Other than that, that's it. I mean, I keep it small. I keep it simple, and I keep the family tight. So, not too many to think, but definitely the right amount of sponsors for me and the perfect sponsors for me. So I do appreciate everything they do.
Well, listen, we wish you the best of luck. We're pulling for you here at Cage with Christopher James. John Pritzko will be pulling for you as well. That history right there. That kid, oh my God, look, he just looks so natural right there. You're gonna have to get you one of your own of those too at some point. Hey,
yeah, so hopefully sometime soon. Getting old, getting up there.
All right. Well, listen. Hi, little buddy Kingston, man. You are the coolest little cat in the world. The eyes on him, my God, they're so deep and just wow.
Yeah.
Like they're captivating. So anyway, you enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for taking the time. I know you got fight week coming up and all that stuff, and I appreciate you in your busy schedule for doing a little show with us here. Always happy to have you on. And enjoy the rest of your day and night. And, safe travel.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I will find you in Florida, and we will share a yoo-hoo together.
A yoo-hoo.
And listen, again, tell Drakkar that I'm going to go back, and I promise, if I find out I said something wrong, I will first issue a public apology because I don't. No, seriously, I don't want to come across wrong like that. If I said it wrong and I wasn't right, you know what I mean? So,
yeah.
All right. But other than that, be well, be safe. God bless. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Courtney.
Bye.
Boys and girls, that was Cortney Casey, Cast Iron Casey. Apparently, I made Drakkar upset. I got to go back and figure out what I said to him or said about him. I don't even know that. I got to go back and look now. But anyway, and again, if I said something that was out of line, I'll apologize. I have no problem with that. That's the way it works. You guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. I appreciate you all, man. You guys have a great night. We'll talk to you again soon. I don't have any other guests lined up this week, but I will because I'm going on the road to Jacksonville. I'm going to meet up with some fighters up there. We're going to get you some live interviews from Fight Week. Don't know who, don't know how, but we're going to get some. So anyway, thanks for tuning in and let me be a part of your life tonight. And this adjusted with no music thing because I had a problem with my computer, so I used the backup computer, which seems to be working fine. The other computer should be working better because it's a lot newer. So that kind of irks me a little bit. But, we'll take care of that all real soon. So until next time, I am Christopher James. Thank you for being a part of my life and let me be a part of yours. Until next time, we out. Peace.